Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back. So today I want to answer this question. Can I get into a position so aggressive on this road bike and so aero that it matches the performance of a dedicated time trial bike? So I got my boy Mitch here to help me out. We're going to run some tests. But first, let's talk about the bikes. Because as you guys know, this is my new Scott. We'll be racing Intelligentsia with that. And it is already like an aero machine. But it's nothing compared to this rocket. Look at this thing. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go out to the testing grounds and we're gonna run several tests. It is a known course out and back. I'm gonna first start on the road bike. I'm gonna get as aero as I possibly can at 300 watts. And then Mitch is gonna do the same thing on the time trial bike. And then we're gonna swap bikes. Same power, same course, same everything is the same, except the equipment. And we're gonna see if we can close that gap because we know that this is designed to be fast. But can we get that fast on this bike? Stay tuned, we'll find out. Oh, but actually really fast, you might be wondering where I got this thing. And I wanted to shout out Pros Closet. They're sponsoring this video. Their website's super easy to navigate. You can find the equipment that you want. It is surprisingly cheap. Actually, it's just easier if I show you. So here I are over at the Pros Closet website. And when I wanted to make this video, I needed a time trial bike. So it's really simple, guys. I went over here to bikes. I went down to TT Triathlon. Yep, I got rid of that thing. And I just sort by size, I sort by brand, I sort by frame material. Like any of this stuff that I want, it brings me to exactly what I'm looking for. And here's what's cool about the Pros Closet. As the name suggests, these are used bikes. But they're not just any like Craigslist used bike where you don't know if it's been in a crash, you don't know if it's working properly. These are actually checked and tuned, and they are inspected to make sure that they're going to perform as promised. You will be surprised at some of the deals you find on here. I mean, it's kind of hit and miss, to be honest, but I have found some really good prices on bikes through here where you would be shocked at what you can get on this website. So I urge you guys, if you're looking for a road bike, if you're looking for a time trial bike, a gravel bike, even wheels and components and accessories, they sell it all on here. So head on over to theproscloset.com. I'll leave a link down in the description. Now let's get back to the video. Why is this important? Like I said, we're gonna see if we can close the gap down from something like this to something like this. This is important because my boy Mitch here went solo for 92 miles at Baker City. And look, if you can get in a more aero position on this bike and get it closer to this bike, even if it represents 1 or 2% over the course of 92 miles, that's like minutes of an advantage. So can we make this bike as fast as this bike? Let's go run a couple tests, find out. Shout out time trialists who are good in that position. Like, this is fast, but man, it's like different muscles and like it closes your hip angle and then you can't breathe. And it turns out breathing is important in cycling. Who'd have thought? I started on the time trial bike and now I'm on this. One interesting thing is like once you get back on a road bike, I feel like I'm driving like a big rig. Like the handlebars feel so wide, you know? Yeah, I mean, I got really aero on this bike and I'm excited to see what the results are gonna show because I felt fast on both, but the Cervelo's a freaking rocket ship. All right, so we're back in front of the computer looking at the results in Strava. Now, I'm not gonna bore you with the details. I'll put everything on the screen. You can pause it and look at it if you want. But here's what you came to find out. The time trial bike is still faster. It's 1.3% faster than the road bike, but we really closed that gap down in our super aerodynamic position on the road bike. Here's an interesting thing, though. On the return leg, the slightly downhill return leg, the time trial bike is 4.4% faster. So the road bike actually beat the time trial bike going up the hill, but then it gave back a bunch of time going back down the hill when the speeds were higher. This is kind of what we expect. And I'll tell you one more thing from my point of view, maybe just because I'm a crit boy, I'm a roadie, but that position on the road bike felt so much more sustainable. I could ride a road race in that really tucked aerodynamic position. The time trial bike, not so much. But hang in there, we're going to actually run back out and do one more test. What's up? Am I sweaty?
You're a little
Am I
bit
salty?
sweaty.
am I doing? It's been hard. It's been hard for Mitch and I because we've been doing intervals. It's like 105. I don't know if we mentioned that earlier. But here's the thing. We talked about the results already. There's more to bike racing success than how fast your equipment is. Drafting and racing. So because this is NorCal Cycling, we have to do a race. And my man behind the camera,
hey,
he's going to be fresh and jump on the TT bike. The question is,
can we catch him?
Can GQ and I catch him in a 2
him.
versus 1 situation? We're on road bikes. He's on a TT bike on a 10-minute course. Yeah. What do you think, EJ?
it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough one. We'll see what happens. Let's get it!
Dude, good work.
I'm freaking dead.
That is going to be close. And the results are in, and it really was close. Mitch and I got him by a single second. But the big story here is we were able to do that on road equipment and using 36 fewer watts, the power of drafting, you guys. So let's wrap it up. What does all of this mean? Well, if we go back to the first test we ran, we learned that we can really close that gap in performance between road bikes and time trial bikes. The equipment has probably something to do with it, but more importantly is your position on the bike. We found a position that gets within 1.3% of a dedicated time trial bike, and by the way, it's more sustainable and it's faster on the uphill. We also learned that even if it is a time trial event where time trial bikes are allowed, you might not be best off with a dedicated time trial bike. The road bike actually beat the time trial bike on the uphill, which makes sense. This is why we see like World Tour athletes. For example, in this last Giro d'Italia, we saw riders in that final time trial stage jumping off of their larger, heavier, more aerodynamically optimized time trial bikes at the base of the climb in favor of the lighter hill climbing road bike with shallower rims, with lighter overall equipment. Even when there was a penalty for that exchange, the time savings of the lighter equipment outweighed the time loss of exchanging bikes going up that monster climb. And then in the second test, we learned that throw another person into the mix and you can go faster with less power in a not so aero optimized position. So the big picture here is, yes, equipment makes you faster, position on the bike makes you faster, but the thing that really has the most impact is positioning yourself in a group, drafting as much as possible. And that's how, for example, in the Intelligentsia series I just finished, I was able to race at over 30 miles an hour for 75 minutes in some cases, while averaging less than 300 watts. So keep that in mind as you guys race. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.